Hello everybody, so I'm Mr. Vardes and I'm going to show you very old code. This is 2015, today's 2025, 2025 minus 50. That's old. This is old code that I'm going to show you. This is used at the start of my journey. I was start developing Python. And this is so old that if we look at the logs, I actually use tabs instead of space. That's how old it is, and it is in Python too. Well then, I think I've leveled up and I actually remove all of the tabs. So what is this about? So the Global Game Jam is a 48-hour hackathon in which you create a game in under that time. And me and my friends, that's the three of us, and we created this game. It's called Psychic Fighters. And it looks like this. In the near future, people with the ability to see the future has appeared. And I've forgotten how long this intro is. I only have less time. Anyways, let's start. So, each player is psychic, which means if the right player is going to attack, you will see flash on where they're going to go. So you then block before you then dead. So the trick here is to try to fake the enemy. You don't say an overhead, but it's actually an undercut. And then now it's the other player. Overhead, and then suddenly lower. And you then just do that. Now, one of my friends who saw this, played it, and his review here is, Laron para sa lasing. Because you can just spam. Now, I only have less than a minute. Who do you want to win? Mr. Muscle or Spark Plug? Spark Plug. Okay. Boom. Boom. By the way, I only have 48 hours to make this, so there's no sound effects. Instead, I made my own. Pew! Pew! Anyways, I only have 40 seconds. That's fine. That's in a few seconds. Yeah. Yeah, you can imagine how fun this would be if you're done. Alright, 30 seconds. Spike Pods defeat Agent 9. To do, insert ultra or some fight scenes. We only have 48 hours. Recognition is the result of a bug in the system. I think you all know the reference here. And this bug can help my people. And that's like any fighting games, the ending is extremely corny. I have won this Olympics and I pay my price. Thank you very much.
Since most of the Lightning Talks presenter are presenting coding tricks and more thing about programming, I will going to share sort of just sort of a research that uh, I've I've take part of my investigation about flasks. As mentioned earlier from the first research speaker in the conference. So this time I've compared algorithms or hashing libraries that are applicable for the Flask web framework. So, sort of a background. No? So, um, we have four popular hashing libraries that is used for Flask application. The Wizard Security, the Flask Bicrypt, the Argon, and the Passline. So, sort of comparison. We as I've done the benchmarking. Now, so this is the procedure. Library setup, hash passwords, measure latency, record analyze, rate ease of integration, then simulate load. So this time I'm going to show you the results. So based on the results, WordZerg is the most faster hashing libraries out of those four. And next is when we say about the strong in terms of hashing, we have the plus argon 2. So, sort of a conclusion, it said that plus fast bicrypt is more onto a balance in terms of let's say manageable performance at the same time ease of use. We have the website security that provides the most faster one, and we have the last one is the website security, which I mentioned earlier, which is the faster in terms of usability and performance. And that's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ildivir once again, and I'm going to walk through about this boot-to-root machine from TryHackMe. It is called PyRat. I have scripts here. First, the code1.py is all about initial foothold to the machine. So, hindi ko siya ma-open kasi limited time lang tayo. So, we can find walkthroughs naman din sa online. And then this script is about brute forcing the initial access to an account. For example, you have a user one, admin, and then admin one. So we are targeting user one here. So for the next code, here is your importing socket, sys, string IO, daytime OS, and multiprocessing for para madali lang siya matapos. And then we have functions, handle client, switch case, exec Python, get admin. So this function handles the admin endpoint. So this is where the privilege escalation starts. And then in the shell, here we use the PTY, a great aspect or a great tool for the using of shells na used for privilege escalation. And I can't delve into detail, so good sana kung yeah. So next part is start the server for the host, port, and admin. So every machine here for boot-to-root has a port and host to start or to play along with the server or to break or even break the server they're using. And then the remove socket if tapos na yung processes. And then checker ng HTTP and then the fake HTTP checker. Next one is the change UID. So of course, if you're a hacker, you can change this one, and you should change this one. And then the main function or in the main block of code is you're using multiprocessing and free support, manager admins, and then there you can see the host and port. You should change this and then execute the Python script and disclaimer, this is for ethical purposes or educational purposes na and be ethical at all times. So once you execute these two scripts, ayun, may root foothold ka na ng iyong machines. So yun lang, that's all for my talk. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so high level architecture lang no ng data pipelines. So we have data sources, and of course we have our ETL solutions now because we want to extract, transform, and load data to a data warehouse or any targets that you want. Okay. So best practices lang. This one talks about the AWS specific solution, no? Which is the serverless solution, Glue, AWS Glue. So first, just use the latest AWS Glue version. Then scale capacity appropriately. Okay. So what do you mean by that? No. Let's say you have 10 workers. Tapos yung data mo lang is around maybe small lang, or maybe you have thousands of rows pero yung database nyo is like, let's say yung pinakamaliit na capacity, so andun din, but again, more workers doesn't translate to more performance. Yun yung point nun. Then use efficient data storage formats, no? So in data, you want to use Apache Parquet or ORC, no? Then incremental loading or delta loading. So you don't want na every run ng pipeline nyo, if possible, if kaya naman, just detect the new changes. But again, depende din sa requirements, no? Some requirements would require you to scan the whole data set again and again. Okay, but if kaya, then implement incremental loading. Okay, tune partitioning and avoiding data skew. Okay, so partitioning, no, so Apache Spark has this capability to read datasets in partition. So, imbes na isa-scan niya yung dataset, so it can scan the dataset parallel, tapos in let's say in parang segments. So if kaya ng database nyo to handle all of that parallelization, no? So pwede yun. Okay? Again, last is identify bottlenecks, no? So again, you could have the most powerful ETL tool, but if yung data source nyo or let's say yung is kulelat, then yun lang. Then lastly, avoid costly actions. Okay, yun lang. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm here to discuss Dockerizing an application, or in this case, a Django application. So first, what is Docker? So di ba familiar? I mean, madumi nyo, right? What's Docker? So Docker is essentially an open source platform to build, share, and deploy your application. So sino yung familiar dito with like yung it runs in my code, yung na meme, right? So it essentially solves that problem by containerizing your application, so your code, your dependency, the OS and stuff. So that's basically how Docker works. So right now, I have an example, Django, DynamoDB actually. So basically, this Django application has an API for get and post requests. So yun yung very yung essential stuff. So here, I'm going to show you how to Dockerize this Django application. So if you're wondering bakit ito yung ano ko, if you're familiar with AWS EC2, so you're wondering bakit EC2 yung ginamit ko. The answer to that question is, mahina yung internet dito. So I've used the AWS internet daw nila kasi mabagal masyadong Docker, nag-build ng Docker image. So essentially, I'm going to take a look in my Docker file and explain to you just how easy it is to Dockerize your application. So first, you need an source image. So it's basically like OS or kung saan yung container itself, ano yung parang OS niya, ganun. So next is, you're going to create directories. So actually, this is not really needed. It's like just for the purpose of readability, I guess, but you could directly work with the root. So next is, actually ito, pwede na to, wala na to. Then, I also have this upgrade pip. So actually, hindi na din. Yung important dito na part is ito. So since it's a Django application, it has requirements.txt. So I'm going to copy that and then put it in the container. And then inside the container, I'm going to run the pip install requirements.txt --r. And then I'm going to copy all of the code in this machine to Docker. And then I'm going to expose it to port 8000. And then I'm going to run the yung command itself to run the Django application. So with that, after that, you're going to build the image itself. So that in order to do that, you're going to type in. Actually, I need to write sudo docker build -t, and I'm going to name it Django. Oh no, API. Then so basically, what to?
So hello, I'm Zaldi Jr. I'm here to talk about Kaggle and exploratory data analysis. So if you don't know Kaggle, there are competitions or data sets and even models. So if you want to check it out. So first, let's start with one of the data sets that I've made, which is PLDT tweets. This was scraped from Twitter. from January to June of 2021. Back then, Twitter was not owned by Elon Musk, and scraping is just frowned upon and not illegal. So we queried PLDT, and so far we've collected around 400,000 or 50,000 tweets. So that's the data set that we have. Now let's go to our notebook. So here we're using pandas and plotly to check. So here are the tweets. And let's see. Here comes the exploratory data analysis part. You can see the monthly tweets based on the data that we scraped. We see the most liked tweets, PLDT slow plus reverb. And disclaimer, kung sino hindi 18, this is trigger warning. I actually wanted to learn what's the most used words in the tweets. So, are you ready, guys? Let's see. Boom. So, sorry. Oh, sorry. So, sorry, PLDT. Just take it with a grain of salt. It's constructive criticism. So, yun. So, next, let's go to another data set I have, which is Mixed Daily Top 10. So, this was charts from 2002 to 2014. Sorry, for the PLDT tweets, I scraped this one using Selenium. For the mix one, I couldn't tweet because there was no. Data here is hard, and the mix does not have a backend API. So what I did was went to Pinoy Exchange and the Sarah Geronimo forums. So grabe si Sarah G this time. Now let's go to the notebooks and the analysis. So let's see. Here are the artists who dominated Mixed Daily Top 10 from 2008 to 2014. You can see Taylor Swift. Very Swifty ang Pilipinas. No? So that's basically it on the exploratory data analysis and in Kaggle in general. And if you want guys to hear more on the daily top 10, I made a simple web app on on the Mixed Daily Top 10. And yeah, I guess that's it for my talk on exploratory data analysis with Kaggle.
It's a thing. It exists. It's in the standard library of Python, and I think it's very underappreciated, especially since it works with a very ubiquitous data structure that we use a lot. This is actually in continuation or maybe in elaboration of what we were talking about earlier in our competitive programming talk, wherein I mentioned iter tools a bit. And honestly, this is just mind blowing that not a lot of people use this because we all know that the best way to code in Python is to find a way to not make it run in Python. A lot of code here in iter2, since it's in the standard library, is actually run in C implementations. So you can guarantee that if you're going to be working with a lot of lists, especially really long lists, it's going to be running fast. So an example of this is if you have a really big range here, like range, let's turn it into a list. So if that's a lot of numbers, right? And if let's say we wanted to concatenate another list here of like again really long, like a lot of numbers, this would take a while. It did take a while because that's not enough zeros. Let's add more zeros. Now it took a while. So okay, it froze. Okay, let's kill that terminal. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Okay, import. Okay, I cannot type iter tools as. Clear it. Now, if we had the same numbers here, like range 1000, like 1000, and then we had range like a lot of numbers, we can actually just concatenate this with chain in iter tools. And what happens is this gets combined, but it's not evaluated immediately. It's going to be evaluated as when you need it. So the moment that we want to turn this into a list, that's when the cost is paid. So the important thing about this is if we were to iterate on it and then we were to break like somewhere in the middle, you wouldn't have to be evaluating the entire list, and that's really huge because again with big lists, if you're able to use the least amount, you do that. Okay, so moreover, if you had let's say if you wanted to have a range that just goes to infinity, you can't really do that with range because you have to specify an upper bound, but with count you can do that. And I'm going to again risk my terminal by using the count function here. So it says here you give it a start, so it just starts at 0. So if I put in a count 0, it goes there. So
I can't really turn this into a list because, like I said, it's infinite. So I'm going to turn it into a loop. So then I'm going to print I. Boom. So you see, it's going to be counting infinitely. And it already just exists because, again, it's just lazily evaluated. And this iterator exists, again, because of iterators. And this is being run in C. That's why the numbers are just already there. So, wow, there's so many other functions here that I didn't get to discuss. Yeah, but please check it out. It's really important. And there's permutations, combinations, and other things there.
And I'll be talking about molten.nvim, which is a NeoVim plugin for running Jupyter notebooks. Usually, initially I had difficulty kasi on running Jupyter notebooks with NeoVim, and with this, you kinda forget about using notebooks ultimately. So in this case, we're actually using a Python function, and I will just initialize the kernel, which uses Jupyter kernel using Molten. And from here, from this Python script, I can already run this Python script just like a notebook. So I could highlight this and run this in itself. So that's this. So this is very useful if you use NeoVim, Python, working on data-related things. So, for example, here I can read the data frame, print the data frame, check the name, viewable naman, no? Okay. And check the age, or do something on the age, and then view the age again. And it runs in itself on the cells. And this is very useful as well. Aside from data related, you could use this to debug your code. If you want your Python script to run a specific line, you could use this as well. And then lastly, I guess we could see the how do you configure this in NeoVim. Basically, just set keymaps for initializing the plugin, running the operator selection, evaluating line, reevaluating, interrupt, show the output, hide the output, delete the cell. And yeah, basically that's it. Thank you.
So hello everyone, my name is Charmaine, and today I will be talking about micro tools and how creating them sort of help me understand that coding is a superpower, and I hope if you're not doing it right now, you'll get that from today too. So by micro tools, I mean like really, really small tools that do one small thing really well. So for example, it just removes the background of an image, or it just helps you with DP blast, so Twibonize, or it just generates certificates. They're so small to me. So why do they cost money? Or if they don't cost money, there's watermarks or like premium models, right? I mean tiers. So the reason is because it's just simple for us because we know what it takes to make it. But people, like other people, don't. And see, that's the difference between us and other people. And that's why I want to showcase to you that like these things don't apply to us. We don't need to pay for these things. So what's the motivation? Raise of hands if you've joined a DP blast and then there's a watermark from Twibonize. No one? This is something that's so annoying to me. Yeah, this is the bane of my existence. My current profile pic has this. And then secondly, which is the one I'm going to demo right now, is that one time we had to generate hundreds of certificates and we were doing it manually. And I was like, wait, no, we're computer science students. We can write it. So I wrote a Python script. So this is using PIL, which is already built in the standard library. It's for imaging. And this is only 48 lines. So you give it a template. You give it the list of your people that you want to write the certifications to. And then it creates the certificate all in one go. So like these are very, very small things. I'm not saying now, oh, I'm a genius for creating them. But that's what I'm telling you. Like, there are so many inefficiencies in your life, so many things that you can create quality of life scripts for. And so this is my conclusion. First is that code is about problem solving, and problems can be big or small. At the same time, Python is a scripting language. So scripts can be big or small. You don't need something to be like the biggest project of all time in order for you to put in the effort into solving it, because small problems are still worth solving. So I hope you find those in your life and also create the micro tools and maybe share it for the people who don't know how to make them. So thank you again, I'm Charmaine.
Good afternoon, everyone. So every people na nagstorya before sa ko is talking about their codes and everything. So I'm gonna be talking about my favorite debugging trick. So how to debug. So we've all been there staring at our screens, absolutely convinced that the bug is right there in that line of code. So you check it again and again. Nothing changes. So then comes frustration, maybe a sigh, maybe a few choice of words, some random words. That's when I use my favorite debugging trick. Sorry. So my favorite debugging trick is, by the way, it's just stepping away. Not stepping away na bahala na hindi na ako sa tiwason. Just stepping away. Maybe drink some coffee. So mag-change lang sa ako ang perspective to change my perspective for that one. That's the simplest debugging trick that I can recommend. So the problem, the harder we focus, the narrower our views becomes. We chase the wrong assumptions. Sige kung pangita sa missing line or some missing characters or whatsoever that doesn't exist. Because the vision you have is narrow already because stress na ka checking your tools or checking your code. So we chase the wrong assumption. Frustrations replaces logic. So sometimes that happen as well in real life. Like miscommunication, you have the same idea, you have the same thoughts or the same, but na-miscommunicate lang ka into delivering what you wanted to tell. So instead of creating chaos or everything, mag-friendship over mo, mag-break up mo sa iyong boyfriend, girlfriend, so just maybe step away, cool down, and then talk about it again. So sometimes that's the easiest and hardest thing to do. So perspective shift. Our brain needs contrast to see clearly. Changes context help us connect ideas, and many aha moments happen outside of the editor or outside of your space. So, while you're in shower or while nagunsa ka dyan sa CR and everything, then you're gonna be thinking, maura na ito problema sa phone code. So that's the most, perspective shift. So beyond code, miscommunications is logic errors, stalled projects, infinite loop. So, dapat infinite loop. So, you just need to add some switch or break. Some for sa mga previous projects, and then a little space reveals the real issues. So, the takeaway, fresh perspective, the forced effort. It's not a forced effort. Clarity comes from awareness, not speed, and also debugging is also a mindset. So, yeah, just a mindset of learning to step away is the most effective debugging tool. That's it, and thank you.
Hi guys, are you guys a frustrated singer? Yes or no? Yes! Are you frustrated paying thousands of pesos in a KTV bar? Yes or no? Yes! So that's what I experienced, no? So last PWA Pilipinas meetup in August, we went to a KTV bar and I wasted 4,000 pesos paying for a karaoke that uses HTML and CSS. And I said, you know what? I can do it better. So today, I'm going to demo you my karaoke system using Fast API and React. So yeah, here. Ta-da! So here, actually, this is already deployed in karaoke.net XYZ. This is a PWA karaoke app. Now you can join or create a room. So I'll be demoing now. So here, I'll just say PyCon Davao. And then nasa display. Oh, may gumagamit. Okay, sige. So now, I'll allow it. And then, I'll go to my join room. And then, as a controller. Okay, so imagine this controller is a phone or anything, no? So let's say, okay, pick a song, guys. Multo. Coldplay na lang eh. Coldplay. Yellow. Okay. So it will search videos on YouTube. And if I click play, and then you'll be able to play it on your screen, on your TV, and everything. right? So, so that's what I did. Now, here's what it works now. So this is my back end. It uses Pass API for this. So there, it's all pretty vibe coded because I don't want to do it in 2 months. So yeah, but basically I know the architecture and all. Basically, it has its own commands for the screen and the controller. And as for the front end, I won't explain it because it's too long. But basically, it just uses React and Vite as a single page app. And yeah, so if you want to try it, maybe later, if you want to sing along, no? You just basically go to karaoke.nedpals.xyz, or you can just check my GitHub for more details if you want to contribute. So thank you so much.